So today we're actually going to be talking to somebody who's got a very dramatic, heartfelt, touching story. And our goal today is to figure out from her perspective what we as parents and or adults in other children's lives could do to help prevent what happened to her.
Really? My experience hopefully will lead me to the end of the path of helping and reaching out to others.
So we need to hear your story first, as much as you're ready and willing to share. What happened to you? Why do you think it happened to you? And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what you think we as other people in your life, maybe not your parents, hopefully parents, but if not parents, other adults in a child's life can do to help children like what you went through.
Linda, the biggest thing that we can do is to listen. If we listen and we see what's happening, then we can ask the questions to listen to what a child has to say.
Okay, so open that up for me though. What does that look like? Because I know that I listened, but obviously I didn't hear.
Okay, yeah. So did you hear?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, me
That's
neither.
what I'm asking.
I don't think I could hear either. I wasn't listening. I couldn't hear. It is a combination of the both to be able to do it. I think this is just my opinion, but my own personal story, what I needed was to be heard, was to be asked the questions. And yeah, heard and listening are two different things. You are absolutely right. So it was very important to get the both, like he could hear.
So what are the questions though? Like what, and if you don't want to share your story, that's fine, but tell us what it is that we are missing as adults. What questions aren't we asking? I see a kid and they're starting to act out in front of me and it's not typical behavior. What should be the question that I'm asking?
Okay, so I'm not a psychologist.
I know that.
Or
from your
whatever that
experience.
is, but from my own experience, what I needed or what it was a lot of patience, because a lot of things a kid does not know how to express. So sometimes like in drawing, artwork, you could sit with your kid coloring. That's time spent with them. That time spent will actually help you to be able to see maybe some more things that are going on with the kid. That would have been helpful for me, or not to be shunned or shut out from whatever it was going on. I acted out in school. Why was I acting out in school? Because there was some stuff going on at home that we weren't allowed to talk about. So my parents, if they're involved in that part and that aspect of it, then they couldn't have been of service to me anyways.
Yeah, but other people could have been.
Other people could have been. There was one time that could have led my life in a different direction. It was an aunt that asked the question if my brother and I were being hurt. And because of my mother's reaction, I denied that there was anything happening. And from that point forward in my situation, so there was a family member that did come forward, but because of my mom's reaction, I didn't want to blow the lid off it because I wanted to protect her. So what did I learn as a child growing up? Shh, be quiet. We have to speak up, I think. Was there anybody else in my family? You know, my granddad used to lock us up in the cellar. Like, he probably wouldn't have been one I would have been able to tell. My grandmother ran around with wooden spoons. She might not have been the one to be able to tell. My aunt was one, she had the kindest heart. And that could have been a turning point. And from my mom's point, she couldn't hear it. And so it shuts you down. Kids are impressionable by their parents. So it is like any split second can shift a kid because they want to protect their parent too. And for me, that's what it was. I didn't want my mom to hurt. But instead, I went on to a long road of hurting.
Of hurt for yourself.
Yeah.
And you didn't really help her either.
No, and she had her own journey that she had to come.
But see, that's the part where as adults we need to step into those gaps because we do understand that. And you were a child at the time and you didn't. So you made a wrong decision, but you made a decision that was in a child's brain. And your aunt did an amazing thing for even asking the question in the first place.
She did.
Probably understanding that you could be creating a whole storm in this house. So my question to you is, we're adults, we're in a situation like that. Let's go back to that. I'm your aunt. this happened, what should she have done or what more could she have done? Help us
That's
help
a good
the kids.
question. You know, I'm not. She could have probably pushed it a little bit more, or went. She did actually push pretty hard. My mom is very powerful. If you think I'm powerful, which I think, I'm pretty friggin' powerful.
I think it's pretty powerful.
And I have, you know, I can. My mom probably would have been a little bit of overbearing to my aunt too, right? Like, I'm sure that my mom did not want my aunt to even ask that question.
Because she probably already knew the answer.
Well, my mom was sleeping with my brother, my older brother, who hurt us. I didn't know it at the time, but the anger and the rage that she may have been feeling, and
She had
her
her
own
own
shame,
feelings.
that was her story. So my aunt may have been taken aback from it, you know, may not have been able to push. She pushed pretty hard. She did push to get the information, you know, and it was my brother that told, and then my aunt that
Did
confronted me.
Was the brother who told? Did he tell that aunt?
Yes.
So the fact that she asked those questions and
She came to me, she kept on about it. For me, you know, he came forward, my younger brother. It was our older brother that hurt us. And she did everything possible to try and get that information. Me, there was no, I'm pretty stubborn, and if I don't want to hurt nobody. So I would have, yeah, as a child, to take that on, what more could my aunt have done in that situation? I don't think there was anything else that she could have done other than maybe, I don't know. Did she go to my dad? Did she talk to my dad about it? I don't know. I don't know. Actually honestly do not think there was anything else that she could have done at that moment.
But she did keep asking until somebody came and gave information.
It was my younger brother that went to her to tell her what happened. This is to my understanding and my knowledge. Now I'm probably 8 years old at the time. So my younger brother told her. She then I guess would have told my mom. My mom's like, well, whatever, probably like trying to sweep it off. But my aunt probably pursued my mom to say, no, we need to ask about it to see what she has to say. And so I remember going into the kitchen, my aunt saying she needed to ask me something. And then she asked me in a lot of different ways, like, it's almost like a, you know, lawyer.
Or
a lawyer, right? Because
Yeah.
they're going to get the truth out. They're going to ask you 100 different ways. So she was pretty persistent. And my aunt is pretty timid and back. She's not really, she wasn't an out front kind of person. So I actually, when I think back about those moments that happened, it was actually out of character for her to be that persistent to try. But it was her heart. She had the biggest heart. She really did. And I'm sorry that I couldn't or didn't feel safe or comfortable enough to actually say the truth.
But you do understand that wasn't your job, right? You didn't, you don't have, there's no reason for you to be sorry. It wasn't your job as a child to be the one that was responsible in that situation. That's what we're trying to actually create here, is an adult society that actually takes on the adult role and take it off the kids.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
So that's what we want to educate them, and that's what we need to get through to people, is don't sit on the fence and think, oh, well, it's not my problem.
Well, it's our own issues, right? Like, as a person now that I am today, to look in, is that if your issues are in your tissues, if you don't deal with your issues, they're going to come out in a million different ways, right?
I love your expression.
So they're going to come out. And so for my mom, like, it came out in anger and rage and sex. She was a sex addict. Let's get real here. Anyone to go to that extreme and to that much, and what she had gone through, even to go and be with my dad after everything that she'd been through.
Right. Usually what happens with people who are traumatized as a child, if it's the adult in their life that's causing the problem, it's because the adult also has a lot of trauma that's happened to them in their lives that they've not resolved, that they've not gotten through, that they've not been able to overcome. And so then the cycle just keeps going. But then there's going to be the odd person. I truly believe that there are gates and doorways that open up for us to get in and reach those kids. And so that's what I'm asking. So even if it's our own kids, I mean, how many times have I sat there and I've seen my kids misbehave or do something that's just so out of character, or 100 different things, and I'll go, what's going on with him? Why is he acting like that? And I know my brain instantly goes, who's hurt him? Who's touched him? What's happened in his life that's made this be such a change in him? And I think parents that are parents
That's
who
actually-
want to be parents that don't have that bag as much, we all come with baggage, but don't come with that kind of baggage, can look at that in a better perspective. And those parents, such as myself, because I don't have that baggage, should
Those are the best questions to ask yourself. Like, that's actually amazing that you're able to do that. Kudos to you. Because it's not, if more people did that, we wouldn't be, because our kids, we think it's our fault because their parents, or the parents are saying they're just, a demon child or a bad child, or they have problems, they have issues, they have ADHD, they have, those are
We do
just
give
side
excuses.
symptoms
Yes.
to actual truth of the essence of what really happens. What really happened to that child? Where are they really at? Did they get picked on at school? Did someone tell them off? Did someone trip them? Did someone say they, were gay, or they're wearing silly clothes, or whatever it is? Like, those can impact a kid to act out in ways they can't express. They don't know how to express. It takes time for a child's brain to develop with their emotions.
Yes.
So as a parent, to ask yourself those questions is pretty awesome. I wish my parents had done that. I hope that I continue to do that for the kids that are in my life, that I can be there for them, that I can be the ear to listen and to hear and to absorb what it is that they're saying, and how I can be instrumental in the direction they can go now.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So you are in that place because you were in that place. So
Yes.
you can see that. I've never been in that place. So you need to educate people like me who've not been in a situation like you to know what to say and do and how to handle. So we have a child in our midst, and we won't know that child as well as a parent will, but hopefully we know them to some degree. I did a little bit of daycare in my home, and I also helped. I volunteered at the school a bit. So you do get to kind of know kids, and you get to know their personalities. And if you care, which people who care are the people who are going to be listening to this, you're going to know that something is off. What do we say? What do we do? How do we help that child get to a place where they feel safe enough that they can say something, so that we can see how we can help them? Because we don't want to barge in and make a bad situation
Yeah.
worse.
Okay, so I would suggest, and it's just a suggestion, and from where I'm coming from, is to try and spend the time with them. Each kid is different.
Yes.
So each kid's needs are different, how they express is different, their impacts of situations is different. So spending time with a child, you can find out a lot, because eventually they're going to talk and they're going to say things, and you're going to be like, you'll piece it in, you'll catch that one little piece. But keep spending time with them. Take them to the zoo, take them to Cairns Wonderland, take them to places, spend time with them, do coloring, do arts and crafts, do things with the child. The truth will surface. It's time and patience to just kind of be with them. That's just my
No,
thought.
that's absolutely great. So now here we have a situation where we are suspecting that they are being, let's say, sexually abused. If they're being sexually abused, is it right for another adult then to take this child to the zoo, to Wonderland, and spend time with them?
No,
So okay, so now we're delving into a whole, this is where I'm going with
Right.
this. So where and how do we spend time with that child in a safe environment, that they're away from the people who are creating that pain in them?
Can we just do a checklist with the damn people that are around a child anyways? Can we seriously recheck parenting? And for parentings that are healthy, like, I wouldn't put down or say anything. You're actually amazing in your thought process and what it is that you offer your children. Whether you did things a little crazy then,
We did.
it's pretty awesome now. Like, and the few ingredients that you've put in there, like, kudos to you. That's what I think every parent, but that's coming from a healthy parent and a parent who's willing.
Yes.
There's a lot of parents that are out there, they're having kids actually just for selfish reasons. Maybe I could think of a lot of things that I could say about this right now.
Yes.
So is there a course? Is there something that parents could take? Is there, because we are not, our children are our future, and for real, the parenting styles and skills that are out there, I don't understand how they were ever allowed to have a child. And then you put them in the system, they're in CAS or whatever, and that's just as bad. You might as well,
Or
like,
worse.
or worse. And,
Can be
you know, I have
worse.
hands-on experience in that as well from all sides of the fence, so. I don't,
So let's
I don't know the answer to this. I don't know. I think, you know, if people, you need a healthy environment to have a safe place for a child to heal from anything if something did happen.
So how do we do
Most
that?
of our places, I think, I don't even know, like a lot is not so good, so.
So let's go back to your story then. What helped you? Other than this aunt, like what else in your life got you to the point
Drugs, alcohol, those were my friends. One of the guys I was sleeping with from age 12 to 15, I was always with other guys. When they ended up in jail, I went on to the next guy, you know, to the demand and supply of getting that fix of the substance to numb what's happened. My mom started sleeping with this guy. He was considered, you know, just my guy. And I had said to him, now that you and my mom are hooked up, we're not going to hook up anymore. Because he had his person, I had my person, we had our things, we did the whole scene of what it looked like. And a lot of the using was to cover up a lot of the things that happened. And if there was a parent that was present that actually maybe took a parenting course that could have helped me or give him what a child needs, because we have needs, and mine were not met.
Right.
Took me into CAS. At 15, by the time I was 11, I was a full-blown addict all out. But when I was 15, I said to my mom I knew something about CAS. So I went to CAS doorstep. And then from there, I went into a foster home, and I remember telling the foster mom that I just need to stop drinking. I need to stop using drugs. And so it began that one part of my own shift in wanting to do something different. And so I reached, as a plant that you kept putting in the dark, I kept finding the light. My branches just kept going to it. And on that journey, throughout that journey, was more shitty things that happened, even not only from parents, but from even our system. And I continued to be a plant in the dark that would find the light, that would find and grow to where that light was. And I'd like to think today my passion and drive is to do everything possible to give to our children what I needed, to be what I needed. I needed someone to listen. I needed someone to have the patience, the time, and my vulnerability not exploited. I needed that. Kids need that. And parents that are healthy and functioning and running and trying to put a roof over your head, if I hear that, I fucking work to put food on this table, that is an excuse for absence in a child's life.
Well said.
So I'm just a little at a time being the change that I need to see happen.
We're going to end there because I don't think I could have said it any better. If you're an adult, parent or not, you need to take the time and listen to the kids that are in your life and be a little something more for them than what you got. And if she can do it for kids, and she comes from what she's come through, and you haven't, shame on you. If you're broken too, turn around and help the next one in line because you know how to do it.
Right.
Thank you.
Come here.